Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. This week, the Porsche runs. Okay, so if you've been watching the series of videos on getting this stolen Porsche back to where it'll actually run, there was a lot of electrical things that I had to address. The ignition switch, the position or the reference and speed sensors, the partially clipped on cap for the and rotor, a variety of wiring issues, the fuel pump being gone, a whole bunch of things. But the cool thing is it all came down in the end after fixing all of those things to one wire. One stupid wire. I knew I was close last time, but let me show you what I found. Way down in this hole here, there's a lot of things happening down here. We've got our plugs for our speed and reference sensors, which are supposed to mount to a bracket right here. So one of the first things I noticed, aside from the goofy aftermarket hose clamp here, was there were two ground wires attached right here. And I didn't really think that was a big deal. They are supposed to be attached down here. One is an M5 and the other's an M6. And it's a fairly decent gauge wire that comes from the battery and goes here. This wire right here that my finger is wiggling was attached up here. Now, I was looking at that and I was like, you know what? I don't think we need to have a ground wire attached to a rusty stud. And also that there is another ground wire up here in the battery tray area, that big silver braided thick woven wire that attaches to the chassis. So why would that wire attach to the chassis? Well, the good thing is it doesn't. It attaches to the engine. So that big thick wire right there was the signal for the engine. So once I hooked that wire up, I got injector pulse, and yeah, like that was all it took. So all this stuff under the engine bay is buttoned up. I still need a throttle cable. This one, I have a throttle cable on the way, but this one is horrible at best. But let's start it up, let it run for a few minutes, and let's see if this thing actually moves under its own power, because we've replaced the axle with some used parts. Somebody was nice enough to give me a couple of broken axles, which I was able to make one decent axle out of. So let's start it up. Let's hear it run for the first time. It lives! The exhaust sounds horrible. So many exhaust leaks. Definitely needs exhaust. But we got good oil pressure. The idle's good. Up here, man, yeah, the exhaust is leaks upon leaks upon leaks. You can see down here, it looks like someone put the exhaust together with putty. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the exhaust is bad, 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 bad. than that, it actually runs pretty good. Let's see if it will move under its own power. All right, so now we have a running 944, which is great. It needs a lot. I need a windshield. I need basically a complete exhaust. One of the first things I need to do, I'm not going to take it out for a long drive because I don't know anything about the timing belt, the balance shaft belt, any of that stuff. So all that's going to get done before we start putting miles on it. And of course, the typical things like flush the brake fluid, basically all of the deferred maintenance that's gone on this car for a long time. And then I need to get the interior back together. That's going to be another job. The 944 runs, it actually runs pretty good, which means it's worth putting some time and effort into and not parting this car out. So that's great. What are your ideas for this 944 project? What would you guys like to see? What would be helpful for you? What would be good content? Let me know in the comments below. On that bombshell, I'm going to go have myself an adult beverage and celebrate. Celebrate that I got the car running. So that's all for this time. Until next time, get out there and work on something.